Hey everyone, welcome back to another PNSO review. Today we're going to take a look at Jacques, the Deinocheirus. Well, finally this highly anticipated figure shows up. I thought it was sacrificed to the shipping gods. Still says on my Amazon tracking that this thing is in transit since September 29th, but it finally showed up yesterday and I was really excited for this figure. It looks absolutely fantastic. Now this figure retails for $50. I ended up ordering mine from PNSO's Amazon store, so I'll leave a link down below in the description to that. You can also order it from their AliExpress, and I'll also leave that down below. Seems like PNSO has mercifully pumped the brakes a little bit with their release schedule. We all know when they come back around, it's like rapid fire, like almost every week or every 2 weeks we're getting new figures. Lately, they have toned it down, and it looks like we're getting monthly releases, so my wallet is rejoicing with that. And this one really blew me away when they first showed it off. And having this thing in hand, this thing is absolutely great. But let's go over the packaging quick before we take a look at the figure. It is a Prehistoric Animal Models. It is number 64. We got a nice picture of Jacques on the front. And then we have a picture of that big goofy head on the top of the box. Now, one thing I did notice with these boxes, usually there's a plastic sleeve insert to keep the figure secure. With this release, PNSO has switched to this white foam that keeps the figure nice and secure. I really like that because I have gotten a couple figures from PNSO with those plastic trays, and they have come damaged with paint rub, so that's nice that they switched to that. And also included is a pamphlet that has, just like a kind of childlike story about Deinocheirus. I don't even think there's a skeletal in here. There's a section on how to draw it, blah, blah, blibbity blue. And you also get one poster, thank God, of the Deinocheirus. And for once, the artwork actually, pretty much closely matches the figure. Usually when we get the artwork, it's a totally different color pattern than the figure they release. But this one matches it pretty closely. It's really nice artwork of two Deinocheirus. So that will do it for the packaging. Let's throw Jacques up on the turntable and take a closer look. And let's start with a nice 360-degree view of the Deinocheirus. All I have to say is wow. The size of this figure caught me off guard when I took it out of the box, but this thing is absolutely beautiful. It is amazingly sculpted. The paint job is probably the best PNSO has ever done on a figure. This thing is the whole package. It's pretty much a perfect release in my eyes, and it may be the very best figure PNSO has ever put out. Absolutely love this thing. You have a bright blue for the neck. You have grays, blacks, yellows, and whites mixing in for that coat of feathers. You have beautiful tail plumage. This thing is just absolutely incredible from top to bottom. I haven't put it down since I got it in. It has all those weird, quirky Deinocheirus traits. It has the weird duck bill, the giant arms, the weird hump sail on its back, beautiful tail plumage. This thing is just so much fun to look at. They absolutely knocked it out of the park with this release. And, I feel like PNSO, they always do a great job with the figures. They're not always perfect figures, but they're always good. I feel like they kind of got a little stale for a while. We've got a lot of green and brown figures, and just the coloration on this Deinocheirus is just a huge breath of fresh air. It gives me high hopes for what they have in store for us in the future. And moving on to measurements, this would be my second time recording everything from now to the end of this video. My microphone died while I was recording this review, so I have to go back and redo everything. Too bad I did not check that. So anyways, with measurements, measuring along the curve of the head and neck, this figure is 13.5 inches long. I actually am measuring it just to where the tail feathers start, just to get an accurate scale measurement. So that is 34.3 centimeters. It's another half inch with the tail feathers, we bring it up to 14 inches, and adds another 1.25 centimeters, and about 5 inches tall to the top of the head, or 12.7 centimeters. So Deinocheirus in real life, which is the largest ornithomimid, is around 36 feet long, or 11 meters. That puts this figure in the 132 scale range. And you do get one accessory with the Deinocheirus. You get those clear plastic stands if it coming with all the new PNSO bipedal figures. Highly recommend that you use the stand. The figure is very front heavy. Those feet are nice and proportionate, so they're not going to add a lot of support. I've had this figure for a couple days now, and it was standing fine without the stand, and then last night it fell over on my nightstand and scare the ever-living crap out of me. So yes, please use the stand. It's a very heavy figure. If it falls off a high shelf, it's going to damage itself and damage any other figures that it lands on. And now let's zoom in and take a look at some of the finer details on Jacques. Now you may be wondering why this Asian dinosaur has a French name. There was a new specimen of Deinocheirus discovered, but unfortunately poachers got to the skeleton before paleontologists in the skull was poached. A French fossil collector discovered the fossils in possession in someone in Europe that got them off the black market. They eventually returned to Mongolia. So this is PNSO's little homage to that French fossil collector. So we'll finally know how weird of a skull Deinocheirus had. So looking at the head is beautifully sculpted. Love how the eyes turned out. The eye is blue with a red iris and a black pupil. Gives it a kind of a sinister look. You get a nice view of that duck bill that Deinocheirus had. Bill is done in light brown and the tip of it ends in dark brown paint. You got that big beefy lower jaw, and the jaw is articulated, opens up nice and wide. And let's turn it around and take a look at all the nice details inside the mouth. You can see the nasal passages are sculpted in. Some nice pink paint for the mouth details. The tongue also has some nice pink paint on it. And then closing the mouth, closed nice and flush. You have a nice tuft of feathers along the back of the neck. The rest of the neck is featherless. We have some nice folds and wrinkles, all decked out in bright blue. Kind of reminds me of a cassowary. And then going down to the body, those big, huge arms of Deinocheirus. They're around 8 feet long in real life. You got nice sculpted feathers all over this figure. This feels like a really premium quality figure by all the nice feather details and just the paint applications. It doesn't even feel like a PNSO figure. It feels like I should have paid like $100 for this thing. This thing is absolutely fantastic. You can see all the feathers on the arms are all nicely sculpted. You see those short blunt claws are also nicely sculpted on Deinocheirus, probably used for either digging or gathering vegetation. And going down to the body, you can see there's a little bit of paint scuff where it fell over last night. So yes, please use that stand. Deinocheirus had this big hump sail down its back, decked out in white, has a nice wash over to bring out all those feather details. Got a nice yellow line, and then it just slowly fades into black and light grays. Very nice color transition. And then going down to the hind legs. The hind legs are featherless, nice folds and wrinkles. Feet are nice and proportionate. It is sculpted in a nice walking pose, like the animal is stepping forward and turning it over. Some more nice details on the underside of the belly. And since we have the figure turnover, let's do our dinosaur butthole check. That is a fine looking butthole for a fine figure. And then going down to the base of the tail, you get this nice white and yellow stripe, and it goes all the way down to the base of the tail. Then it turns into blue stripes. Very nicely done. Now, we knew Deinocheirus had fan of tail feathers. The tail vertebrae were ossified at the end. It's called a pygostyle. So that's how we knew it had attachment for this fan of feathers. And viewing the underside, you see some wonderful detail on all those feathers. This whole figure is absolutely brilliant from top to bottom. Let's get the camera to focus in on that. This thing is definitely probably my favorite PNSO release of all time. Absolutely love this thing. Now, moving on with comparisons. First up here is Collecti's little 140 scale human figure. Yes, it's a little bit small to scale with this Deinocheirus, but it gives you a good idea of how big of an animal this was. And next up, let's compare it to some other Deinocheirus figures from other companies. Deinocheirus have been treated pretty well in the dinosaur figure market. There's a lot of great figures of this species. This is Safari's limited version, and here is Collecte's, which is an awesome figure. And lastly, here is Kyoto's take. So yeah, each one of these is a great figure in their own right. I love the Safari one. I just wish it was bigger, but the PNSO one is definitely the definitive version of this species. Now let's do a couple ornithomimid species. Here is another giant species. This is Collecte's Beisheng Long, and here is Collecte's Struthiomimus. So yeah, you can really see what a different animal Deinocheirus was compared to the more standard body type of ornithomimids. And there's not a lot ornithomimid figures on the market. Would love to see a new Gallimimus and ornithomimid figure from some company just to fill out my collection. And let's do another long arm boy. Here is Collecte's Therizinosaurus. Let's get it to stand first and get it into shot. So yeah, Therizinosaurus is from the same formation as Deinocheirus in the Gem formation, and there's a lot of dinosaur variety in that formation. I love to see PNSO loves doing Asian dinosaurs. They can do Adasaurus, Gallimimus, Prehistoric, that alphabet vomit of a sauropod. There's a lot they can do, and I'd love to see more from that formation. Oh, and Saurolophus. I will do dirty, nasty things for a Saurolophus figure. I think I've said that plenty of times over the years on this channel. And let's do a couple PNSO Asian dinosaurs. Here it is with their Sinoceratops. And next up, here it is with their Tarbosaurus. And Tarbosaurus Deinocheirus would have tangled in real life, and I just think the pose of these two figures look really great next to each other, of the Tarbosaurus trying to attack the Deinocheirus. And let's finish these comparisons off with a couple of American dinosaurs. Here it is with PNSO's Triceratops, and lastly, here it is with PNSO's Wilson T-Rex. So final thoughts on PNSO's Deinocheirus. Like I said a couple times, this is the best figure I think PNSO has ever released. It is a flawless figure in my eyes, and I don't think I've really said that about any figure I've ever reviewed on the channel. I think I'm almost at 500 reviews. I've been doing this almost 4 years now. My God, how the time flies. So yeah, this thing is absolutely stellar. It's a $50 figure, has a very premium look and finish to it. It's a hefty figure. The sculpt is absolutely gorgeous. It shows that PNSO can do feathers, and hopefully they do more feathered dinosaurs in the near future. And I just love the bright colors on it. It actually looks like the promotional images. I think PNSO heard us complain over the years how their promotional images and in-hand product look totally different. I think they're actually taking pictures now of production samples and put it on the box art, and this thing is just absolutely stellar. Highly recommend it. And like I said at the beginning of the review, got mine from PNSO's Amazon store, $50 plus shipping. Link is down below in the description. I also leave a link to their AliExpress store. So that will do it for the review. I don't have too much new stuff coming in. We just had some Hammond collection reveals this morning, so God knows when those will be out. I do have something coming in from Reborn. Should have that in a week or so stay tuned for that review. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously and is greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.